So we're going to sew the zip now. This is our back split that we've made for our zip to go into. We have I think this is a 20 centimeter zip. Yep, 20 centimeter zip. And what will happen is that this edge will go under and the fabric will sit right next to the teeth here. This will get folded under on the other side and is stitched in place so this top edge just covers that fold there. Okay, so when our first thing we need to do is just open the zip up, and we need to sew down this row here. And to do that, we need the zipper foot now. So with this here, we have a 2 centimeter seam allowance, but we actually want this, when it's finished, we want it to go a little bit further that way, so when this is folded at the 2 centimeter mark, it does cover it up. So the good thing about having this wider overlocking is that if we sew along this edge here, that'll end up being about 1.7, which will give us the little step that we need, and that'll make more sense as we go a little bit further along. So line the edge of the tape up with the edge of the overlocking. Okay, so it's important that you, when you're positioning the zip at the top, that this metal bit doesn't go too far down, because we only have a 1 centimeter seam allowance here, and then that means that you'll have this big gap between where the stitch line is, where the waistband's sewn on, and where the zip actually starts. So a good idea is to give yourself, you just need just over a centimeter. So say 1.4, 1.3, 1.4 to the top of the metal bit here. Okay, so once you've got that in position, put the foot under and try and get close to the teeth, but also you do have to get around this little metal bit here too, so don't get too close to that. Let's just pull down a bit. Nice and neat at the bottom. When we come down to the bottom, you can lift the foot up but keep the needle down in the zip, and then slide the zip up so it actually goes past. And then you'll see here that when we sew it, it'll be a little bit inside that 2 centimeter stitch line, which is our centre back seam allowance. And then just do a back tack at the bottom. And you'll see there on the top, when I fold that back, that there's probably about like a millimeter gap between the folded fabric and the teeth of the zipper. We're going to sew down this side now. So because this is already sewn at 2 centimeters, you've got a 2 centimeter notch here, that what you can do is you can hold it 2 centimeters and you can see that that's even all the way down, which is important. And then, you can just run it on the machine, and then that will give it a press. So you don't need to go to the iron to make that happen. And before we start sewing, what we're going to do too is just going to line this up so that this folded edge just covers the inside there by like 2 millimeters. And then we're going to put several pins in. And this is so that you don't have to try and manipulate it as you go along. It's already in place for you. Cool. Right, so that's holding that in place. Now we're going to start so that you can keep the same zipper foot on as well. And I think just to start, just pull that zipper down a little bit as well, because it does tend to get in the way when you start sewing. And we want to sew about a centimeter away from the folded edge here as well. Now this is important too. Actually, once you start sewing, you can pull the zip up out of the way. And then what I do is using 6 fingers and keeping an eye on this fold because we're sewing 1 centimeter past it. Is really like not making the fabric drag. We're literally sort of holding the fabric flat as we go along. Because if the fabric pushes, then you end up with a pleat down the bottom here. And the other thing to keep in mind too is to know where where the bottom of the zip is and where the metal is. And I can feel that it's there. So what I can do is I can stop. Actually, no. What's probably easier is to go down a little bit past the metal there, because you obviously can't sew over it. And then leave your needle in, lift the foot up and turn the corner, and then just go across to the seam and do a back tack. Okay, and you'll see there that if I undo my pins and lift that up, and you can see that we've covered the underneath, and it's matching pretty well at the top, and we've still got, our zip is still working properly, which is always nice.